think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Ladies and Gentiles, it is I, Dick Thunder Lips, here from the past to bring you the future. Heroes of Fantasy, your Recaparoo is here a little late, but never not never. You see, I'm going to Recaparoo week 6 action. But Dick, we're in week 8. I know, but that's because I've hired Chili to give you the Recaparoo of week 7 and usher in week 8. So without further ado, real quick-a-roo, we're going to go through week 6, Jack. Now, we'll kick things off right away with Jay Sizzle Home Improvement against Danny Boys. Don't call it a comeback. Jay Sizzle put down Danny Boy 106 to 94.5 as we saw Josh Allen carry the load with Juju feeling so good. And, well, let's face it, Danny Boy's team didn't really get off the ground, only scored 94. There wasn't much else they could have done. But Joe Burrow outdoing Josh Allen from Jay Sizzle's bench. He's got a two-headed honcho on his hands, boy. Now, moving right along, we got Professor Ito dropping only 61 points to Alfredo's 90 as Los Muchachos go over. Tom Brady struggled, but it did not matter because Freddie's 90 was just enough. And hey, Oscarito would have liked to seen, a couple hundred dropped on him when he scored in 60. Not a winnable 90. But, tough go. Luckily, Professor Ito is not out of it just yet. We still got a lot of game left, folks. Meanwhile, the undefeated Steven Naramore All Dance Fault continued to stay undefeated as he put down Zach's Hasta La Vista Baby. That's right, 123 to 104.4 as Steven Naramore continued his cruising streak of domination on the back of Saquon Barkley and Mark Andrews flying oh so high. But Zach still looking solid from top to biddity bottom. It's still, again, juice in the tank. Keep the chins up, folks, and keep it going. Of course, this is in the past. You've already played another week, so it's kind of late. But anyway, meanwhile, Jose Valdez dropping yet another one, only scoring 83, this time to Adrian's daddy, Tyree Dean. I'll name this team later with a $102 against 83 as Tyree rides right on the back of Deion Jackson with Jonathan Taylor out this particular week. Zeke still eating with 15, and Tyree just getting it done, showing Adrian that he's going to miss his daddy. But, this week, Adrian didn't miss his daddy that much. He only scored a $108, but it was enough to get over Let's Ride Matt Segovia's squad, 108 to 99. A tough week for Matt. You hate to see it. He was on a big upswing here. Amari Cooper on the bench scoring 12 might have been the juice to get him over the top, but it wasn't to be had as Mr. Adrian rode the back of Brandon Ayuk and Chase Claypool, of all people. The bottom pushing up the top. And that's exactly what happened here. And I wasn't talking about poop, folks. And from there, I'll talk about poop. And that was the performance of C. Jizzle. No chance in hell, only scoring 73 to Ricky G's, turning that shit up 93 to 73. CJ, just a struggle bus with Lamar Jackson, another disappointing performance. And you hate to see a gooser from a defense somehow, some way. But there it was. They don't even score negative, but somehow he got 0, folks. I don't even know what that means. 0.8 from Melvin Gordon didn't help matters as Ricky G went over, folks. Now we'll kick things off to the Chili Willy Dilly. Silly for week 7 action. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, the Chili Willy Dilly, here to give you the fantasy Nelly on all of that week 7 Heroes of Fantasy action. Chili's been called into action because Dick had to do last week, and so Chili's got to keep it cool going into this week. So just like that, staying icy, we're going to get right to it. Sometimes it's hard for Chili to see, so it might be ice cold. But we got to take these off for a minute. Hoo-wee. Now listen here. We got a hot matchup Opposite of Chili Willie as Tyree Dean will never name his team, but boy, he didn't need a name to put down C Jizzle. No chance in hell is what he had. Hooey. 95.06. Tyree putting down C Jizzle, who scored an 8-0. The Ocho no as he drops to 3-4, and Tyree goes to 4-3. Listen here, listen. Aaron Rodgers, the big cheese, scoring 15. Not too terrible. Just enough to get Tyree by as Zeke continues to eat. And JT, well, he's still not number one, but boy, he chipped in, boy. Let me tell you. Now, a disappointing Lamar Jackson performance is what was the nail in the coffin for C Jizzle. But hey, at least you got bright patches, you got good teams here. Not too much to worry about. You just got to stay frosty and ride this out, CJ. I believe in you. I believe in you. But let me tell you, we know who I don't believe in? I don't believe in Adrian. No. See, while Tyree's going one way, Adrian's going the other. Let me tell you, 77 points. 77 points. He got blown up during that shit up by Ricky G. Ricky G almost doubled his performance with a $135.9. Ooh-wee. Ricky goes to 4-3. Adrian dropping to 2-5. And Adrian, I mean, the Titans giving you 20 is ice cold. Ice cold. I love it. The rest of your team, not as chilly, not as with it. You know what I mean? You got to turn those degrees lower. And even though Ricky G got a goose egg from Michael Gallup, he put in Dak Prescott, only got him 12. It didn't matter because he is him, the truth. Kenneth Walker III. That's right, put up 28. And just when you think it ain't, Aaron Jones had a solid game, and the pack be running and running. They ain't winning, but they running and they running. And boy, he ran to 24, giving Ricky G a solid score, let me tell you. And it ain't looking too much better on Adrian's bench. So Adrian might want to get back with daddy before he finds himself in the toilet bowl. But Adrian, hey, there's always that redemption at the end of the year when you don't make the playoffs, brother. Keep dreaming. Let's go. Danny boy, don't call it a comeback. Going to 4-3 as he put down poor baby Los Muchachos Alfredo. Normally ice cold Freddy put up a cool 86. Not cool enough though, because it was ice cold. Was a $129.6 for Danny boy as he went to town with Austin Eckler feast. And Jamar Chase just with that cherry on top as Burrow continued to do Burrow things and wake it on up. It didn't matter that Jared Goff coughed up a fur ball of 1.5. When your QB scoring 1, you know you're in trouble. But hey, it don't matter when the rest of your boys are popping off ice cold, baby. They don't even need mama's lemonade. No, they need grandma's lemonade. When you see Tom Brady, who's a grandpa, only dropping 11, and the Buccaneers somehow losing to Carolina 21-3. Carolina just dumped C-Mac because they're tanking. But are you really tanking when you're beating Tampa, or is Tampa just that bad? I don't know, man. All I know is that the Buccaneers are in trouble, and maybe so is Freddie as he goes to 3-4. But hey, it's never too late to turn around.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely.
I do declare, it's time for that home stretch. You got to make them trades, make them moves. And don't you make them half-ass, boy, because if you do, you might find yourself where Stephen Naramore is. How heavy is the crown? Undefeated. Stephen Naramore. He said it's all Dan's fault. Maybe it is today as he drops an L finally. And the man who gives it to him is your reigning champion, home improvement, Jonathan Sexton, dropping a $146. It took 146 points, but he didn't need him, boy, because Stephen Naramore only scored 86. Stephen finally lays an egg on the year, and his opponent's there to capitalize, and oh boy, did he do it. He blew the barn doors off of that boy, mainly because Joey B went and dropped a 40-piece, 39.2. Will always get you over the hump, making everything else look way better, like only 2 from that Buccaneers D. But hey, it is what it is. Stephen Naramore, Mark Andrews normally flying high, scoring the big You know, what are you going to do? Stephen Naramore said he's got his buys. It's going to be a tough week. Why not struggle when your opponent's dropping $146? Maybe this is all in his head, in the psychology. Heavy as the crown, but Stephen Naramore still at the top. Just J6 nipping those heels at 5-2. Stephen falls to 6-1. And talk about falling, boy. Lots of 80s getting dropped. And the Professorito, boy, is he glad he avoided one of these fools going over 100, because Professor's like, let me get to that 100 and beat these 80s. And here we are, the Professorito going to 4-3 after dropping a so cool 100.22, dropping Jose into 10 last, baby. He is a roasted, I don't even know, man. Kicking the horse while he's down. You thought Adrian was bad? Ooh, you ain't seen L, boy. Let me tell you something. If I don't know cool money when I see it, the cool money we bet against Al. Let me tell you, bet against Jose. He scored 80.7. I don't know if he's got a soul alive besides Patty Mahomes and George Kittle. He's got his big guns. The rest of the boys, not so much. Now, Justin Fields, woohoo, popping off ice cold on his bench. But hey, you know, when Juicing Jefferson, he on that bye, he's missing a big weapon, but that's no excuse for only scoring 80, folks. You see, Oscarito got in there. He may be riding Jimmy G, but boy, is that Josh Jacobs wagon just carrying him. He is on. He is on that wagon, boy. He is riding it until the wheels come off. So it don't matter that he got a Romeo Dubes goose egg. What matters is that Al got 2 goose eggs. Boy, in the swear of the week. Oh, Corey Davis. Boop, boop. J.K. Dobbins. Boop, boop. Al, this is how you don't win in fantasy. I'm impressed he scored 80 with 2. Wait. Joshua Palmer got 0 too. He's got 3 zeros and scored 80. I don't even know what this means. George Kittle's got 18. Dolphins scored 3. I don't know what's going on, folks. All I know is that L's got 3 goose eggs, somehow still put up 80, and of course got the L. Anyway, L, put in someone with a pulse. He might have got a dub. Anyway, in the ice cold, Chile's ice cold, frosty, sub-zero game of the week. You gotta have blood in your veins, boy, because this one's decided by a point. This one's decided by a measly, teasly point. As Zachariah puts down Matt Segovia, these 2 Titans. We're going one way or the other, folks, but now they are both 3-4. Ooh-wee. Boy, Zach picks up the dub 97-96. That's right, folks. Every little scrape and scrap mattered here. And boy, oh boy, Matt, watching DK Metcalf leave the game early was the nail in his coffin, boy. DK only getting 1.7. Just killer for Matt's team, boy. When you lose by a point, you hate to see it. Zach getting solid performances from Stevenson, from Mr. Hall before he got hurt, from the Herd Bear himself. But hey, all I know is he got that 1 point that mattered, and Matt, he's tasting that L, boy, and that ain't cool. But you know what's worse is when you know they both got dudes on the bench doing stuff. We ain't even gonna speculate. All I know is that both the guys at the bench scored 15. Let's pretend that both put them in, and they scored the same thing. Oh, anyway, this is it, folks. You are down the home stretch. It was ice cold, but believe it or not, only 1 point mattered right there. And when we look at the standaroos going into week 8, the Ocho, you know, right down home where I like it, boy. Right down home, right like it, right in the heart of the South. Stephen Naramore still at the top of that mountain, 6-1. But boy, we know the God can bleed now as he hung an L on him. Boy, Jay Sizzle 5-2. And then a bunch of 4-3s nipping at their heels, boy. Turn that shit up, Ricky G, the Professorito Oscar. I'll name this team later. Adrian's daddy, Tyree, and Danny, boy, don't call it a comeback. And that ain't all, folks, because there's 4 teams at 3-4. Right below them, Hasta La Vista, Let's Ride, Los Muchachos, and No Chance in Hell. And then the 2 irrelevant teams, Adrian and Jose Al Valdez. Let me tell you something. These 2 need to do something. I admit the year ain't over. It's a long year. You still can make a run, baby. But, hey, or just start hunkering down, get ready for that redemption bowl. Because, you might just win your entry fee back. You know what I mean? Lick them paws, lick them wounds. Because, like that, baby, all I know is y'all struggling right now. Y'all ain't cool. So get on it, get frosty, and yeah, that's better. Stay frosty! Ha ha, baby! Meanwhile, folks, going into week 8, the Ocho, before we let you all go, there was the first trade of the year. Not quite a blockbuster, but hey, it'll blow your doors off. It's between two top teams going into week 8 as Jay Sizzle trades Joe Cool. That's right, Jay Sex sends Joe Burrow and Deontay Johnson to Ricky G's team for Jalen Waddle and Michael Gallup. That's right, Jay Sex found himself with 2 steady stud QBs and was able to pull up a deal, shoring up Ricky G's QB spot at the cost of a sexy wide receiver in Jalen Waddle. We will see how this pans out as we close out the year, but for now, the first trade of the year, let's not make it the last. Heroes of Fantasy. Dicks out for now, baby.